Welcome to Legacy Trails with your host, Stan Potts and Terry Horton.
Even before I was able to hunt, he would take me hunting, duck hunting or deer hunting.
My mom was a hunter, my grandmother was a hunter, and they started me hunting when I was just a little girl.
It's about passing it along. It's what my granddad and my dad did for me. They passed the outdoor legacy on to me when I was a little boy.
Come along with us as we show you our family's love of God's great outdoors on Legacy Trails. This week's show is brought to you by Chevy Silverado, the 2014 North American Truck of the Year. Heavy metal, because I didn't come this far to miss. Mission Archery, bows and crossbows that outperform their price. Spy Point, the world's best and most innovative trail and action cameras. Drop Time product, quality mineral and seed blends with free shipping. Scentlock, proven deadly. Grace Camo and Lace, it's a way of life. And by booksbypots.com.
Folks, welcome to Legacy Trails TV this week. Have we got a show for you? Mackenzie and Buck Horton in Arkansas. And Mackenzie, she's chasing a big one with a gun.
She sure is. You know, old Buck, he's chasing his first whitetail buck with a bow, and he's using that mission craze. Hey, y'all sit back and enjoy the action.
Mackenzie Horton got a weekend off from school and is down on her family's farm in Ethel, Arkansas, with her dad Terry behind the camera. The weather in Arkansas is cool, and the deer have very few acorns in the bottoms, so they're coming out to the oat plots early in the afternoons. The Spy Point trail cameras are showing decent bucks coming to the mineral sites. Let's join in with Mackenzie and Dad and enjoy a great afternoon hunt along the edge of the White River bottoms.
Today we're in one of my favorite spots down in Ethel, Arkansas. We're chasing after one of those big old Arkansas whitetails.
It's not long before does begin to move across the oat plot. Anticipation builds as young bucks start to filter out to play around and eat. It wasn't long before a decent buck appears out of the wood line and begins to bully the other young bucks around.
See him in there.
Yeah.
Just wait. Stay on him. Just wait now.
As the sun starts to fade, the buck gets separated from the other ones, and Mackenzie cocks and steadies her gun for a shot.
Is this go down? I don't know. There he goes. Boom! Boom!
Yes, yes. I just saw my first buck of the season. I'm shaking. I can't breathe. I need my inhaler.
When they get down, they find a good blood trail, and it's not long before Mackenzie gets to enjoy her first buck of the year.
We just found some blood. There's some right here. We just found some more blood. Get back in. He's getting bigger. Bigger than blood. This way. Yes, I found him! Alright, we got him down. He's down, guys. We got him.
Good shot. All right.
We got him.
What a deer.
Yes.
There.
I'm so excited. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 points. I got to come down from college to hunt with my dad today. And we got here about 4 o'clock, and we got up in the box stand, which is my favorite stand to hunt. And it's my lucky spot because it's where I also killed my first deer. And we had a big group come out of about 4 does and about 3 or 4 bucks too. And this one came out, and we knew then this is the one we had to have. I'm so excited, I can barely talk. And next thing I knew, I was pulling the trigger, and I knew I'd hit him. And I got lucky, I got him. I'm so excited. It's a great day here in God's country on Legacy Trails.
There's nothing better than to get to share a hunt with your kids, no matter how old they are. Terry and Mackenzie will have this hunt to remember for a life.
Right behind the shoulder.
Doing good.
We'll be right back.
Fast on a rough road riding, twisting, turning further from my home. And when it's done, believe that I will yell it from that mountain high. I was born free.
Truck guys, as dependable as the trucks they drive. Chevy Silverado, from the family of the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road.
You're watching Legacy Trails, and now it's time for Along the Way with Stan Potts. Is sponsored by ScentLock, proven deadly.
Welcome to the show, folks. Tim and I are sitting here telling buck stories. And one buck story that I've told a lot of times as I travel the country doing my seminars, Tim, and you remember this.
I was there.
It's famous deer. It was a big 6x6, typical, that I crawled across the field. He was bedded with a doe in a cornfield, and I crawled about a quarter of a mile and shot him bedded out in the middle of nowhere. And I had a shed off of him, and your buddy Bruce,
Yep, he had video footage of him.
he had video footage of him. And so this was a famous deer, 6.5-year-old 6x6, and I crawled out and made a great shot, and the story was in North American Whitetail magazine. And what made the story so neat was the 2 guys from Oklahoma.
Right.
Watching. They were in tree stands across the field, and I didn't even know it, and they watched me, and
Thing.
they did, and it was a pretty cool story. I crawled all the way out there, got my bow back from a laid down position, and then got up and made a perfect shot on him, and he run out there and went down, and had Gordon Whittington, the editor of North American Whitetail, there.
I remember after, when you got back to the check station with the deer, because it was on public hunting property, you had to check these deer in at a certain place when it was over. And I remember when you got back, those 2 guys from Oklahoma told me, they said, when we saw him get down out of that tree and start crawling across that field, we thought that was the craziest thing we'd ever seen. And 15, 20 minutes, whatever it was later, they watched you shoot him, watched him get up and take off running, and thought, well, he might have missed, until he went and fell over out there in the field.
Yeah. Well, that's just a prime example. Don't be afraid to make it happen. Sometimes you can't just sit there and wait. Sometimes you got to make your own luck.
That's right.
In South Arkansas, the 2013 bow season started in mid-September. Buck Horton and his dad Terry Horton use a bayou to access a pinch point along the edge of the Arkansas River. They paddle their boat up the bayou in order to use the wind to their advantage.
Well, folks, we're out here today, and it's Friday afternoon. It's about 5 o'clock, and we've just got pictures of a really nice deer, and he's here every day at about 5:40 in the past week. He's been here every day. So tonight, we're hoping that we can get him. We had to run up the slough in the boat to get up here. It's a nice stand. Hopefully we get the big buck on the ground.
Let's join in with Buck using his mission bow and his dad behind the camera to see if their efforts pay off. Right at dusk, Buck spots a deer in the brush, and the deer is very slow to come into the opening. After several minutes, the deer walks into the opening, and he's definitely a shooter.
Hit him in the shoulder. Yes. I think I just got my first buck deer with the bow. He came up here and I thought it was a raccoon or something. Then I seen horns stick up, these big old horns, and I said, oh, there's a deer right there. Turned around and it was a staring contest for about 10 minutes. Then he didn't spook or nothing. He just turned around and he walked broadside right out there. Right there. Smoked him. Excited. It's my first buck deer with the bow. Thank you, Lord. Got checked out of school today to come out here. And last year when I killed that big deer with the rifle, it was right over there. So this little hole right here is good for killing big deer. Just excited right now. Got my war paint on. I think that deer's down. We replayed the footage and it looked like a perfect long shot. There's more blood right there.
After a short blood trail, they find that the mission bow has done its job, and the buck falls short of the bayou.
Hey, what's that? There's a deer, folks.
With a good plan going into the bow season, their efforts truly paid off. Buck ended up with a great first buck with his mission bow.
What a shot. Good shot.
There he is right there. I'm excited, folks. It's my first buck with a bow. He's a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 point. Well, folks, as you can see, we got this really good 9 point. It's my first buck with a bow, and I'm so excited. And if you can recall, I killed another 9 point earlier this week in Illinois with the muzzleloader. This is my first deer with the bow, my first buck with a bow. And I want to thank Mission for this wonderful bow they make, this craze. It put him down. It was at 35 yards, and that bow shoots perfect. And I think we're going to go to Chevy and load him up.
You're watching Legacy Trails. We'll be right back.
12 years ago, Heavy Shot unleveled the playing field. We think it's time to unlevel the playing field again. Heavy Shot proudly brings you Speedball. Designed with the Speedball pellet accelerator, Speedball's layered construction keeps high energy Heavy Shot pellets flying slightly ahead of the MV2 pellets. Speedball, unlevel the playing field.
You're watching Legacy Trails. It's time for Know Your Game with Allie and Adriana Armstrong.
Today we have our top 5 tips for hunting with kids. Number 5 is keeping them out of the tree stand or out of the blind for long periods of time because they can tend to get bored. Also, keep them out of the extreme heat or the extreme cold. We like to keep warm with our hot box. Tip number 4 is all about proper clothing. Take the time to take your kids shopping and make sure they get the right clothes and boots that fit, because it'll make the hunt a lot more enjoyable. And definitely don't make them wear their dad's clothes.
This is definitely not gonna work.
Tip number 3 is about being familiar with your equipment and practicing in advance. Tip number 2 is all about having fun, because after all, it is more about the experience and the memories than the trophy. We always had a lot of fun in the ground blind, whether it was taking naps or eating snacks. We always managed to have a really great time. Tip number 1 goes without saying. Always follow the rules and regulations and make sure everyone is 100% safe. Always remember, safety first.
You're watching Legacy Trails. Kids Gone Hunting with Buck Horton is presented by Chevrolet Silverado, the 2014 North American Truck of the Year.
Hi y'all, I'm Buck Horton. This week on Kids Gone Hunting, one of our youngest team members, Maddie West, is on the Arkansas Youth Hunt. Let's see if she can get herself a nice buck. Maddie West is headed to her favorite deer hunting blind with her dad. It's the evening of the second day of the 2013 Arkansas Youth Deer Season.
It's 2013 in Arkansas, and it's youth season. And we hope a big one comes out. Stay with us, y'all, on Legacy Trails. Well, we just got in the stand, and we already had a little nugget, and we're just waiting until a big buck comes out. We think there's a buck. We don't know if it's a buck, but we think there's a deer right on the left lane, so we're just making sure there's not.
Planted some food plots in here off the river in a CRP field, so these deer's really been hitting both spots, so hopefully we'll get a cruiser coming through this evening.
What is that thing? Dude, he's walking toward us.
When they get settled, it's not long before a buck shows up, and it doesn't take Maddie long to decide this is the buck she's after.
He's a big old body deer.
Oh my gosh.
Just let it go. Boy, got it tall.
Oh my gosh. I got it right on him. That thing's huge. That's a 4.
Hey, we need to cock your
That's a 6. He has brow tines.
We need to cock your gun.
That's big 6, Dad.
No, it ain't.
Yes, it is.
Hey, just stay still.
Okay. I'm fixing to shoot him.
No, I gotta get the gun cocked.
I can shoot him. You got it cocked. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Dad, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's a big 6.
Boy's really tall.
I know.
Can you find him?
Yeah, I got him.
All right, take it.
Did I get him?
I think you got him.
Oh my gosh. That was a 6.
Good job, man.
That was big 6.
You know.
That was big 6. He had brow tines.
He had brown tines.
Yeah. It was 4 and then 2 brow tines.
Yeah.
After texting her mom, they decide to get down and recover her buck. As they're walking, her dad sees her buck get up and run off. They decide it's best to back out and wait till morning to recover her deer. Maddie has school the next day and she hasn't heard anything about her deer. Her dad picked her up at the bus stop and has the buck in the back of the Chevy. After they get done celebrating it, it was time to take pictures and enjoy another great Arkansas youth hunt. It looks like the beginning of a brand new legacy.
This is my life. The weekend warrior. No more production lines or deadlines. This is why I work 5 days a week. I need speed, power, precision. I expect no less than the best. This is my best. This is my chance. This is my mission.
Simple, efficient, powerful. Mission by Matthews.
Welcome back to Legacy Trails. Keepers of the Flame with Terry Horton is brought to you by Spy Point, the world's best and most innovative trail and action cameras.
At Legacy Trails, we treasure those gifts and traditions handed down through the generations. Each week we like to take a moment to pay tribute to those whose hard work keeps our outdoor heritage alive. Whether it's an organization or a specific individual, from the past or the present, each one has made a difference. We call them Keepers of the Flame.
This week, we feature the Eddie Eagle Gun Safe Program, the National Rifle Association's groundbreaking gun accident prevention course for children. Created in 1988 by past NRA President Marion P. Hammer, in consultation with law enforcement officers, elementary school teachers, and child psychologists, the program provides pre-K through third grade children with simple, effective rules to follow should they encounter a firearm in an unsupervised setting. If you see a gun, stop. Don't touch. Leave the area. Tell an adult. More than 26,000 educators, law enforcement agencies, and civic organizations have taught the program since 1988. The program recently surpassed a milestone by reaching its 23 millionth child. NRA offers free Eddie Eagle materials to any law enforcement agency, hospital, or educational facility across the nation. Funds raised through Friends of NRA and distributed through the NRA Foundation enable budget-strapped schools and police departments to teach the program at minimal or no cost. The NRA encourages citizens nationwide to participate in heightening gun accident prevention awareness within their local communities. Schools, law enforcement agencies, civic groups, and others interested in more information about the Eddie Eagle Gun Safe program, or persons who wish to see if free materials are available in their communities, should call the Eddie Eagle Department of the NRA.
Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to Legacy Trails TV. I hope you enjoyed it. Buck and Mackenzie Horton chasing them Arkansas whitetails. Don't forget, right back here, same time, same place, next week.
Stan, I am so proud of both my kids. Man, that's just continuing a legacy. Hey, thanks for watching. Y'all come back next week, and God bless.
Next week's preview presented by Ground Dogger Hunting Solutions.
With a decoy, with a bow, filming myself. That was awesome.
Closed captioning provided by Bow Addicts. Feed the addiction. This week's show is brought to you by Chevy Silverado, the 2014 North American Truck of the Year. Heavy Metal, because I didn't come this far to miss. Mission Archery, bows and crossbows that outperform their price. Spy Point, the world's best and most innovative trail and action cameras. Drop Time Product, quality mineral and seed blends with free shipping. Scentlock, proven deadly. Grace Camo and Lace, it's a way of life. And by booksbypots.com. Promotional consideration was provided by these fine sponsors.
Well, folks, as you can see, we got this really good 9-point. It's my first buck of the bow, and I'm so excited. And if you can recall, I killed another 9-point earlier this week in Illinois in the muzzleloader. This is my first deer at the bow, my first buck with the bow.
I'm so excited, I can barely talk. And next thing I knew, I was pulling the trigger, and I knew I'd hit him. It's a great day in God's country right here on Legacy Trails.